turn that part off. Let's go to top view. Let's left click on sketch, left click top view, left click center point circle. Hover over the center, drag that out, do the same thing here. Now we're gonna left click on dimension tool, left click on the outer diameter, change that to an inch. Left click inner diameter, 0.77. Close that out. Let's go back isometric view. Let's go extrude for this one. And go over, select sketch 41. We're going to go solid, new. The depth will go 2.5 inches. Hit enter. And now we can close that out. So let's go to front view. Left click on sketch, left click front view, left click center point circle. Let's bring this up, drag that out. Let's do the same thing again. And left click dimension tool, left click here. Let's go 1 inch. Left click on the inner diameter. Let's go 0.77. Left click here on this line, left click here. Let's make that a 1/2 inch, and that should get us right to the area where it'll touch. Close that out. Left click on the navigation cube. Go over to extrude. And we want solid, add, because we're going to add to this part. We're going to select sketch 42. More than likely it would have already created add once we selected that sketch. Let's go symmetric, and 2.5 inches is long enough. There we go. I think that'll give us plenty of room to add a snap to that. So on our first design, this was a 1/2 inch in inner diameter, but we're changing that because we want to put snaps on here so that those hoop segments will snap in, so the tube that's going to go in it, instead of being a 1/2 inch diameter, it's going to be 3/4 of an inch. Now we want that tube to be able to go all the way in here. We're going to snap it on anyway, but we're going to hollow that tube out. So let's go left click, sketch, left click top view, left click center point circle, hover over the center, drag that out. So once you drag that out, let's go up to the dimension tool, left click outer diameter and go 0.77, hit enter. Close that out, go back to isometric view, let's go to extrude. And let's go, because we want that to go all the way through, just to make sure there's nothing blocking it. Let's go 3 inches there. We want solid remove. Does not need to be symmetric. And we're going to select sketch 43. We want it to go in the other direction. You notice that's red. Let's flip that around. There we go. It should go all the way through there. Doesn't need to be symmetric. I guess we could make it symmetric if we wanted to. No, we'll just leave it there. Let's close that out. These other tubes do not need to be that way. All right, so now we need to make our bolt holes, or where the snaps are going to go. So let's go to right plane, left click sketch, left click right plane, left click right here on the center. We'll go straight up. Let's make another one right around from here. And we'll make sure these are an equal distance from the bottom there. All right, so that's going to allow us to snap those in. Let's go left click dimension tool, left click in the center of that. Left click here, and let's go 0.75. Don't worry that it threw those off. 0.25 here. This. Click on the center here and drag that back over if we wanted to. Left click on the dimension tool, left click outer diameter, 0.25, hit enter. 0.25, hit enter. Left click here and we'll make sure that that is a 1/2 inch, so 0.5. That'll center it up. And then click that again, but this time this edge. We'll make sure that's 0.75. So again, we'll go 0.75 here. 0.5 here. And that'll center it up in the tube. I'm going to delete or deactivate the dimension tool. I'm going to pull some of these out so they'll be easier to see, so that they're in kind of the same orientation or close to it. All right, good. So we've got that. Let's go to isometric view, close that sketch out, left click extrude. So we want solid, remove, select sketch 44. We're going to go 1.5 inches just to make sure it goes through these parts, which it should. And we'll go symmetric, and that should have created the holes in it that we want. Let's go back to isometric view. Let's go right click, rename, and these are going to be our side spar connections. So part 15, side spar connections. There we go. So we've got it renamed. Let's right click on it again and let's go edit appearance. Let's go black and then close that out. Yep, looks pretty good. All right, we're in top view now. Let's go over, left click on sketch, left click top view, left click center point circle, hover over the center, drag that out, drag out another circle. Now you notice there I got off. So I'm going to click that, I'm going to hit undo. We'll start that one again so we don't have to bother centering it up. It'll be easier just to redo it this way. So make sure you start with it highlighted in the center, left click, outer diameter 1 inch, inner diameter 0.77, left click, let's close that out. Now we're going to go back to front view. This one, because it has an angle in it, we're going to sweep it. We're going to go left click sketch, left click front view, left click line tool, right in the center, drag that out, drag this one out, pull that away, hit escape, use your dimension tool. Let's go ahead and set our links first. So we want 3.5 inches here. We'll do 3.5 inches here. Scroll out so we can kind of see that. Let's do the sketch fillet tool now. Select this one, select this one. There we go. Double click, make sure that's 1 inch, which it is. I'm going to hit enter again. I'm going to pull that out so we can kind of see the radius of the bend. Now let's select this one, let's select that one. And 155 is what we wanted. We got lucky on that. Let's round that up to round it down to 155. Good, so that's what we're looking for. I'm gonna scroll in real quick and bring that back in if I can. All right, close that sketch out. Let's go over to isometric view, take sweep, click on both of those. Now come back up here where it's a swept path, left click on that until it turns blue. Click on this one, let's zoom in, click on that one, and click on the last one there. And now we'll close that out. That should be solid new. And you should have all those others selected. Let's go to front view, left click sketch, left click front plane, left click center point circle. Let's drag that up to right about here. You see that dashed yellow line showing that we're centered up. Let's drag out another one, activate it. Click on the outer diameter, we're going to go 1 inch. Inner diameter, we're going to go 0.77. click here on the center part of that line and get it an equal distance from the base. And we want that to be 2.75. Hit enter. Good. Let's close that out. Let's go left click. Let's go to extrude. Select sketch 44, the one we just created. We want this to be symmetric. We want it to be solid add, so it creates the same part, not a new part. It's going to be 5 inches. This will be the part that slides over the front frame tube so that the spars can attach to it. Hit enter. Good. So we've got that part created. Now all we need to do is look down. I'm going to go back to front view. We need this to be hollow. So let's go left click sketch, left click front view, left click center point circle. Let's bring that up. We'll center it up in just a second. There we go. Left click dimension tool, left click the outer diameter of that one that we just created, 0.77. And now we need it that distance away, so that I think that was 2.75. So 2.75 inches away. Good, now that's centered up. Close that sketch out. Now we'll go to isometric view. We're going to go to extrude again. Left click on 48, sketch 48. We want to make this, let's do 6 inches because we're going to do remove instead of add. We want to make it symmetric so that it cuts all the way through that. And that should go through part 16. Look, let's see if we can see all the way through. Yes, we can. All right, good. Left click, right plane, left click center point circle, drag up from the center. You see the dashed line. We'll get it close. These are going to move around anyway because we're going to have to resize those. So let's just put them on for now. And now let's go to our dimension tool, left click. Let's go ahead and resize them, 0.25. And then we'll get everything centered up where it needs to be, 0.25. That one's going to be close, 0.25. There we go. Let's click in the center here. Let's go 0.75 inches away. This, I believe, it's going to be 2.5 inches from here. I think that'll get us centered because I think that one was 5 inches long. That did not do it. Let's go 2.75. 2.75 inches there. I believe that's going to center us up. And let's go 0.75 there. Move that down here. 2.75. Click on the center. Click on the edge. We'll go 0.75. There we go. So that should give us what we need for those. If we decide to do bolt holes, they'll go evenly through. So let's close that out. Let's go to extrude, solid, remove. We want to select sketch 49. Want these to be symmetric, and an inch will do it because that is 3/4 of an inch, but I'm going to go ahead and put 1.5 just to be sure. And let's close that out, and those should be set. Yeah, we can see through. All right, we only need a hole on this side. We're going to have to create a plane. I guess we don't have to, but if we put in a hole, let's say using the right or left plane here, it's going to go at a weird angle, and we want that hole to be centered up so that it's directly on that face. So we're going to go front plane. We're going to go up here. This will be a new tool for you. Left click plane. We want plane angle. We want line angle. The entities we want it to go through, we'll select here from front plane. It's going to be face of sweep 11. Let's go 180 degrees. It should give us an angle here that we can see here in just a second. Yeah, there we go. So we can kind of see that that is going to go perpendicular to the front plane if we do that. So it's cutting right through the center. So that's what we want. So we're going to close that plane. left plane. We're going to go sketch, plane 1. We're going to go center point circle. We'll bring that up from center. We'll drag that out. You notice it's at an angle. Left click dimension tool. Left click over here. Let's get that to be 0.25. Really only need it to go on one side, but we'll go ahead and have it go all the way through in case we want to do something that won't hurt anything. And we'll go 0.75 inches away from the side. I'm going to pull that away so it's easy to see. Left click, let's go over to extrude. Select sketch 50. We're going to go remove. 1 inch will be enough, but let's go ahead and do 1.5. Let's go symmetric. There we go. Close that out, and then that should be at the angle this part of the tube is going, because we use that in plane 1. Let's right click on this and rename it. So this is going to be our side spar connection. It's symmetric around here. All we have to do is flip it to the other side, so we don't have to create a mirror image of it. We can bring this into assembly view and just flip it around. Let's go to isometric view. Let's close this one out and let's do another part. I'm going to turn that plane off so we don't see it over and over, and then I don't want it to get distracting. To right plane. The reason I'm doing this on right plane is so I can kind of visualize, it'll make it easier for me to visualize. Left click, sketch, left click, right plane, left click, center point circle, hover over the center, drag that one out, left click, drag that one out, go over to your dimension tool, drag that away, hit 1 inch there on the outer diameter, 0.77 for inner diameter. Close that out. Let's go back to front plane, and we're going to draw a line here. This one's also going to have an angle. Left click sketch, left click front plane, left click line tool, drag this one out, and then click, drag this out again. I'm going to try to get close to the angle that we need, then pull that away, hit escape. Let's do the lengths of the line that we need first. So we're going to go 3.25. We'll do this one at 2 inches. There we go, that looks good. Let's go sketch fillet. Click on this line, click on this one. Let's double click, it's an R1, so that's what we wanted. Let's drag that over here so we can see that bend. Radius of the bend's there. And now let's left click on the dimension tool, left click here, pull that away. And let's go 157, hit enter. Let's go close that out, left click on isometric view. Let's go sweep, select the circles first, select the line after this turns blue after you select it. Zoom in so that you can see all your sections. There we go, so we've got that. Close that out. Top plane. Let's do the first bolt hole here. Left click sketch, left click top plane, left click center point circle, hover over the center, pull that away. Left click dimension tool, pull that out, go 0.25. Hover over the center, hover over that line, 0.75 for the distance. Close that out. Let's go isometric view. On extrude, we're going to go solid remove. We'll go 1.5 inches. Symmetric. We'll select sketch 53. There we go, our hole is formed. It goes all the way through. Let's left click plane. We're in front view. Left click here on the part. So we selected the area we wanted it to create the plane in. Let's go 90 degrees. Let's look at that first. make sure that's going to go where we want it. So close that out. Yeah, it flips it around. I had to close it out. I'm going to put this on top so it'll be on the same side as before. I kind of thought about putting it on the side, but I think this will work for us. When we're assembling it, it'll make it easier to press. If it's on the top, we can see it from both sides, no matter what side we're on. So let's go left click sketch, left click plane 2, left click center point circle. Let's drag this up to the center. There we go. And let's go over to the dimension tool, click on this. Left click the center of that circle, left click the edge of that tube. Let's bring that down 0.75. That should move it closer to the edge. Good. Let's close that out. Let's just look, make sure that's angled the way we want. Yep, looks like it is. Let's go to isometric view. Left click on extrude, solid, remove. We want sketch 54. It's been highlighted. We'll go 1.5 inches of depth, symmetric. And then our hole pops up. We really don't need it on the other side, but that's okay. It'll be good enough. Makes it easy to make. Now let's go to front view here. And let's create the part where the side base tube is going to connect. So left click sketch, left click front plane, left click center point circle. Start in the center, drag that out. We'll pull that away. We'll do that again. Take your dimension tool. Let's resize that to 1 inch. Resize that to 0.77. So we're going to go 3.15 inches here. So select the center, select that. Let's go 3.15. Let's see what that gives us. That'll work. Right there at the bend. Close that out. Go to isometric view. Let's go to extrude. Let's go solid. We want to select. Now watch, when I select sketch 55, it should create add because we're creating an additional part. We'll do a depth of 3 inches. Let's go to top view. Looks good. Let's create a center point circle here. So let's go left click sketch, left click top plane, left click. Let's drag this down somewhere close to the center. And let's left click on that, make that a 0.25. And then let's make that 3/4 inch from the side, and then we need to get an equal distance to here, and I think we were at 3.115 if I'm not wrong. Yeah, the other, that's why we had to create this hole first, is to also know that distance. All right, so we got that. Let's go over. Let's go to extrude, solid, remove, 1.5 inches. Let's select our sketch that we want to extrude. We want to make that symmetric, so it goes through the top, and we've got that one. There's only one more thing we need to do to this. Let's go to top view, left click top view, and let's go over to center point circle. Start here in the center, we get our yellow dashed line, we draw that out. We're going to draw another one out. We're going to make this one 1 inch. We'll make the center one 0.77. We'll select the center. We'll come back down here, select that line. And we'll make that 3.15. That should align everything. Close that out. Go over to extrude. Select sketch 57, solid, add, so it's creating a new part. We do want this one to be symmetric. I'm going to go 1.4 and see what that gives us. what I'm trying to do is have that line, at least the inner diameter, not be obstructed by that. All right, so we're on top view, left click sketch, left click top view, left click center point circle. We'll go to the center. Let's drag that out. Find your dimension tool, activate it, 0.77. Good. Now let's go back and select extrude. Select sketch 58. We need it to be solid remove. And we need it to be, let's do 2 inches here, symmetric. That should remove that material in the center because we're going to need a tube to go down in there, and we need one more bolt hole right around in there. So let's go left click sketch, left click center point circle. Let's center up here, drag that out, left click on our circle, go 0.25, good. Let's see what our distance is here from that to there. I just want to look at that. All right, so yeah, we'll hit that 0.7 because that was 1 inch, 1.4 inches, so that 0.7 is the halfway point. Close that out, go to isometric view, go to extrude, select sketch 59, remove. 1 inch is good enough. We only need it to come out this side, so it doesn't need to be symmetric. Close it out, and that'll give us a hole so that we can rivet in that tube or find a way to connect it. All right, so let's right click, rename, and this is going to be our back frame hoop connection. It's going to connect the hoop to the back frame, and the front frame will connect in as well through the side base tube. Hit enter. Let's right click on that, edit appearance, and let's make that black. All right, good. So we're getting really close to where we can create our first assembly. All right, so we're going to use a tool we haven't used before. We're going to highlight this part. Because it is not symmetric, we can't just flip it around because it has this part coming out right here. We need to create a mirror image of it. So let's left click mirror. After we've highlighted the part, it's going to ask us the plane. Click on that. We're going to scroll around here to right plane. We're going to highlight that. And what that's going to do is make a mirror image. And we want it to be a new part all by itself. So it's going to create a new part for us. So that's the reason I selected new, not just add. I don't want it to add on to this. I want it to be its own part. Close that out. We're going to transform that so that we can see that those are two distinct parts. So let's go transform part 18, and we'll go X, Y, and Z. Let's move this in the x-axis. And so you can even change these numbers. Since we're going in that direction, it's going to be negative. So we're going to go back up here. We're going to rename this one Connection 1. We'll rename this one Back Frame Hoop Connection 2. Let's go ahead and turn those two parts off. I'm going to go back up and turn that plane off because it'll be distracting. Left click top view, left click sketch, left click top view, left click center of top plane, drag that out. And we really only need one of these. We don't have to make this a tube because we're not making a segment. This is only going to be for assembly view. So when we put things together, it's just going to be for reference. So let's make that 0.75. Got that created. Let's go left click line tool, left click here, let's drag that out, hit escape, take your dimension tool, click on the center of that circle, and then the line we created and go 28. So that should be 28 inches because that is our radius of our hoop being 56 inches in diameter. Now we can close that out. We go to revolve, we select that sketch, and we're going to do full this time. So revolve axis is that line, and we can go to isometric view so you can see that. This is going to be for reference only, and it's a new part. So let's go down here and rename that. Part 19, hoop for assembly view. This will be one of the few parts we create just for a reference so that we can do our first assembly inside of Onshape in the next video. Make sure everything's matching up before we do our first small scale print.